Hi guys. Good morning everybody. Hello. So, hold on a sec. Oh, it's so bloody early and I'm here with my little coffee. I haven't had coffee for quite a long time. Well, it feels like a long time because me and coffee, we are good friends, but for a while we had to, you know, call it a day because of the anxiety. Anyway, I'm having a coffee this morning. Right. Again, this is a video where I'll have to talk quite carefully and deliberately and choose my words carefully. You know, I've always been a big believer in saying what you mean and meaning what you say, because you see, we live in a world where people use language rather offhand, and I find this is especially true as well in the so-called spiritual arena, where you get 10 different people talking very slapdash about quite profound stuff, and they don't choose their words very carefully at all, and so that it creates a great deal of confusion, especially for people who are quite new to this path and who are still finding their footing, as it were. I think it's very important to talk with deliberation and, I suppose, a certain amount of meticulousness. Especially because you see, well, language is pretty stunted as well. And so there's even more of a need to be very deliberate in how we speak. Anyway. So, in light of what I've just been through and what is beginning to emerge for me, within me, much supported, I might add, by the synchronicity all around me. I mean, it is speaking to me now more than ever before, but the entire narrative there has changed. It used to be a case of, you know, of, right, you're going through a very tough time. There used to be a fan, it would say storm force on the side, and I would see that everywhere, and it would always be an indicator of, right, you're going into another dark period, you know, like soul retrieval type shit. You know, there's always stuff going on like that. And it was always a case of me thinking, how much longer am I going to have to go through this? How much longer am I going to have to go through this? Because, of course, we all know, well, those of us that walk the true path, how bloody hard it is, and how we find ourselves way, way, way beyond the end of our rope, as it were, right? And we're still somehow getting through that. So there are many times where we wonder, how much longer is this going to go on for? And those of us who have a lot of victim consciousness often think we're being punished, we're being manipulated, evil is out to get us, we're targeted individuals, we are being had, we're being abused, blah blah blah. Which then of course we need to turn around and face and feel and acknowledge, at the same time holding the light of, no, that is not actually the case, but I'll get to that in a minute. In other words, it's a really, 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 really tough journey, and it literally is going through the eye of the needle. That is what this is. This is not for the faint-hearted. This is only for those of us who are truly ready. Hence I call us warriors of the light, because we really truly are people. We are warriors here. We're not, you know, we're not fucking Heidi. So, now, we live in a world of distraction, right? That word, you should see that word as bright red, neon, massive in Times Square. Distraction. The purpose of that is, and certainly in one way, to distract us from our own internal being. Now, in my previous video, I've talked about how we have all been MK Ultra'd. I believe that to be the case. It's true, we all know this. We've been had on every imaginable level. We've been manipulated and gaslighted, traumatized to the hilt on every imaginable level, and so has everybody else. But the distraction is there to keep us from realizing that, from awakening to that. See, so even people that are busy with the conspiracy theories, focusing only outwards, oh, it's happening over there, and the Illuminati's doing this and they're doing that, and the Greys are doing this and that, and but it's all happening out there, are still distracted. It's important to go through that phase. I did for many years. I was a conspiracy realist, in inverted commas, because a lot of those stories are massively influenced and aren't always true, and that in and of itself is a very murky terrain, but we all know that nothing is the way we thought it was anyway, or that they told us it is, whatever, we know this. But it's time to move on from that now, at least in my case it is, because I've done that and I've got all the t-shirts, and I am no longer interested in entanglement in darkness. I am interested now only in this entanglement, because I truly sense with my entire being that the way forward now is the way of love consciousness, of miracle consciousness, or for lack of a better word. And for that one needs to be purified completely. It's like I said before, at the end of that film, or the book in the Celestine Prophecy, their vibration, as in they're so clear, they're so clean, their consciousness, their focus, their intent, is so pure that they literally fold up to a higher reality, a higher realm, where the forces of darkness simply can't touch them, they can't see them, they're invisible, they cannot be harmed in any way, shape or form. Of course, until one of them goes back into fear and poof, all of a sudden, you know, he's got a big fucking gun in his face. It reminds me of the story of Orpheus. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Greek myths. I am not overly familiar myself, but I read this story not long ago. Orpheus was a musician. He was born of a minor goddess and a mortal king. And he had the gift of music, and with this music he could put a spell on people and animals and nature. And he fell in love with this woman called Eurydice. But Eurydice was bitten by a snake. Poignant, right? The snake, the poison, and died and went into the underworld. And of course Orpheus was madly in love with her, really loved Eurydice, and he went into the underworld with his harp to try and get her out. And with his magic, the magic of his music, he managed to basically get in there. He even put a spell on Pluto, and Pluto said, well, you know, you can have your beloved back. Start walking, she will be behind you. I only give you one. There's one thing I don't want you to do, and that is never ever look back. Just keep walking until you're out of the underworld and back into the light. Never look back. Eurydice will be behind you and you will set her free that way. Right, so Orpheus starts walking, playing his music. But fear and doubt sets in as he is still traversing out of the underworld and into the light. He can't see the light just yet, you see, he's still in darkness. But he can't hear her footsteps and he can't hear her breathing. And fear and doubt sets in and he thinks, shit. And so what does he do? He looks back. And Eurydice is snatched back into darkness, away from him forever. Fear and doubt. Yeah. I've gone off on a tangent again, haven't I? Goodness me, I can't help myself. It just always happens. Basically, people, you know, our consciousness is our responsibility. If we want freedom, we need to do the fucking work. It's as simple as that. How do we do the work? Well, if you find yourself sick in mind, in body, emotions, spirit, in your life circumstances, then know that all of that has been created by you, for you. You need to go within. And a lot of people don't understand what that means. They don't know that. They think, well, how do you do that? What? This world wants us to be distracted, and it's very clever at doing that. And we are taught to do that from when we're very little. In fact, there's a lot of people who, when their baby cries, ignore their babies. There are books, believe it or not, this is how evil it is, on childcare and baby care, that say that you should ignore your baby. Because that is the way to, you know, because if you when your baby cries and you go in to see to your baby, to tend to your baby, to love your baby, they're going to be crying all the time. They're going to take advantage of you. That's the message there. So just let your baby cry and just ignore them. I mean, it's evil. But, you know, there's a woman called Janet Barcelo who talks about childcare and childbirth, and actually years ago I used to listen to her, and she makes a hell of a lot of sense. It's all done on purpose. But anyway, how do we go within is to stop being distracted. It is to commit 100%, 1,000,000% to oneself. It is to understand and to realize that the thoughts in your head and the feelings that you feel, no matter how crazy, insane, terrifying, ugly, dark, whatnot, are actually your greatest teacher. They are not the enemy. They are not demonic. This is not psychic attack. See, those memes are put in there to get you to reject yourself. Oh, it's psychic attack. Ooh. No. It's you. It's your stuff. It's your trauma. It's your PTSD. That is what it is. Stop allowing yourself to be distracted. Sit there. Feel. What am I feeling? What am I thinking? What is happening? And allow that to wash over you. Stop resisting. It is all resistance, you know, all of that stuff is resistance, because you're traumatized. You've been through absolute hell. You're sick. You're not well. You're depressed. There's all other stuff going on in your life with family or with money or God knows that. I mean, there's always something, right? And you want to get away from it. The feelings, the thoughts, you don't want to deal with that. You want to get away from it. That is your knee-jerk reaction. That is your comfort zone. Get away from it. Get away from it. Don't look at it. Don't acknowledge it. You're rejecting yourself. You're actually hurting yourself. It wants your attention. The more you get away from it, the louder it will get, because it's there saying, please, I need your attention now. Hence, often enough it gets very acute. And so the only way to do this, going within, is to start to listen to yourself. It's to start to be with yourself. It's to start to love yourself. Loving yourself is saying, I am here. I'm here. I'm with you. What do you want to show me? What do you want to tell me? Pay attention. Physical diseases are manifestations of beliefs, of programming, of trauma that wants to be healed, that wants to be resolved. You see, again, so ask yourself, what is this about? See, for me, with my teeth, it was all about I am not safe. I am not safe. And I have so much rage and so much self-hate. I felt still do, I dare say, in some places very, very worthless. And I felt that I deserved to suffer, and that it was all my own fault, and oh, there was so much stuff going on there. And I had to work through it. And feel it, and acknowledge it, and be with that. Without judging it, without thinking, oh, I shouldn't feel this way, it's bad. Oh, I shouldn't have these thoughts, that's bad. That is what they, the powers that be, the dark side, wants you, the archons, want you to think, you see, because that is how you reject yourself. And that is what keeps your trauma firmly in place and in control of you and your life and that which you create. And that is what fuels this insane world. It is all about letting go of all the distraction of I don't want to look at it, I don't want to feel it, it's crazy, it's weird, I shouldn't feel that way. That has to stop. Everything that is happening in our life, physically, mentally, emotionally, materially, relationships, doesn't matter, whatever it is meaningful. Everything is meaningful. Pay attention. What is this? What does it mean? How does this feel? Weird thoughts in my head, but okay, allow, and surrender to it. If you find yourself resisting it, if you find yourself judging it, then be with that. Accept that. That is your fear. We have this little child in us that is screaming in anguish. Just a minute. You know, it is screaming, and it wants our love and our attention, not our judgment. All this learned, toxic, filthy, nasty, dirty behavior. The poison, the snake. Funnily enough, the snake, it's a symbol for poison, but it's also a symbol for healing. And this brings me to another aspect of all of this. In homeopathy, we have a sideline of homeopathy is called homotoxicology, and it's used for detoxing. A remedy, say like Nux vomica, can be used to detox the liver, and it brings on quite often quite a severe healing crisis. So we take a bit of the poison to purge the poison out of our body. And so the snake is also a symbol for that. So in life shit happens to show us what is going on with us. It brings up stuff, right? It's like a bit of poison, an event, meeting a person, a disease, a health problem, whatever. They're keys. They are keys that will unlock your trauma, that will unlock chambers within your being and open those doors. They will open those doors and that shit will come up and out. Alright? The first hurdle to it all is dispense with the distraction and the judgment. This is bad, I shouldn't feel this way. That is not true. You need to feel it with love. Accept yourself. Accept. Allow. And then, well, patience, and to notice the triggers. Perhaps you've whatever health problems they are, they're there for a reason. They're there to show you something, and it can be healed and it can be resolved if you're ready to do the work. What is this? What does this mean? You know? Like teeth are pivotal. People often have dreams of their teeth falling out or their teeth rotting away. It has everything to do with the brutal state this world is in, with not feeling safe in any way, shape or form. In fact, I would say that goes for the entire skeletal system. Obviously, when you have trouble with your liver or the elimination organs, it means that you are busy being distracted and you're rejecting yourself. You are not able to process and to purge. See, so stuff stores up in your elimination organs, energetically speaking, and you will start having trouble with your gallbladder or your kidneys or your liver. you know, thyroid, lungs, hormones, whatever, you know, you can look all this shit up or you can work it out for yourself, but it is what it is. And, yeah. See, this reality is not real. It's a dream world. It's a quest. And ultimately, people, there is no evil, but believing makes it so. There's some people that would get really, really angry and they would say, well, that's bullshit because I see evil everywhere and ooh, and they're doing this to us and they're doing that to us. They're not ready to move beyond the threshold yet because they believe all of that. Just like if you eat, you say, for example, yesterday I really wanted this ice cream, it's coffee flavour, it's really, really nice. And my mind is there going, oh no, that's really bad for you, it's full of sugar, it's going to do this to you and that to you and that to you, and you're going to get fat. Those are all beliefs, programs, right? That's how it is, can't have the ice cream. But there was the other side saying, yeah, but that's bullshit. You can have that ice cream, not gain any weight, not have any adverse reaction, and get a great deal of pleasure out of eating that. So I chose that one. I was very much on the threshold, to be fair, but the shift is all about that. It's like I said it before, and I'll say it again, we cannot enter heaven with the consciousness of hell if we are still entangled with the victimhood, with the rage, with the self-hate, with they're all doing it to us and evil is very, very powerful and it's doing this and it's doing that. Then that's where we are going to live. That is Archon territory. That is this world. Reset happens within, spirals outwards. I don't know the exact this, that and the other. You know, I'm not here to tell you guys anything. I'm just talking about stuff that I sense, that I feel. That's all I'm doing. And I'm not saying you should do this or you should do that. In fact, I very much advocate that you, each and every one of you, follow your own inner trajectory. And your journey may well be very, very different from mine. You know what I mean? So I'm a great believer in individuality, and I don't believe in a one-size-fits-all. I also think that the so-called spiritual world is full of stuff that isn't really me. You know, it's the true nature of this experience is very different than what we thought it is. And it isn't mind. It goes way beyond the mind. It goes into territory where the mind cannot go. Right? The mind cannot go to it. And hence, the deeper your path, the higher the level of trust that is required, because when you have to leave the rational mind behind and go into unknown territory, then that becomes truly terrifying for people like us who have lived in this, we must stay in control at all times because we are terrified. Well, you know, it's it's all in all, it is not at all what we thought it was. And it will get weirder and weirder, and it will get more and more spectacular. We will also have to face the fear of our own power. That has come through for me very strongly. How terrified we are of our own magnificence, our own radiance, our own power. And yet, you know, we've played so small, we've lived on our knees, people, in the dark. The light shines bright and our eyes hurt. This is kind of par for the course as well. You know, this journey and what we get out of it all depends on how fucking hungry you are for it. I'm insatiable. I want it. I want it all. I've always been that way. I'm quite an intense person, and, you know, I walk this path and I will keep doing it. But the synchronicity now has taken on a very different tune. It has become very much of, yes, you are good to go. And divine developments building your dreams, and from fear to joy on a number plate. It speaks to me now very much of, okay, it's happening, but the work continues. There are definitely dark clouds still and feelings of anxiety and of to which I then say, this is okay, feel that, feel fear. What if it's, but whereas Orpheus looked back and lost it all, I will not look back. I won't, because I'm aware of that. I know now that these feelings of fear, of trepidation, of, but what if it's all, you know, sick evil game, what if evil was, what if this, what if that, all of that is all the trauma and the programming that I've been subjected to, all the beliefs. So I can be with that now. I can facilitate for myself, as it were, and be with that, not judge it. Let it be. Let wash. It's okay. And I will do my TRE, you know, trauma releasing exercises every day from now on, because they have worked for me. So I will keep doing that. It takes commitment, people. It takes big time commitment to ourselves. We deserve that. Only our own love can see us through this, can save us, can lift us out of this filth into the radiance of our own love, our own power, our own reset. There is no evil, but believing makes it so. That comes through for me very, very strongly. And for me it is time, like I said before, to disentangle myself from the murk. I seek to reset. How that comes about, when it comes about, what it will look like, I have no idea. And you know what, I'm not going to spend a lot of time trying to figure that out, because that is just more distraction, and that is just more fear and suspicion. So when I do that, as I inevitably end up doing, I sit with that, I allow that, I see that, and I know what that is, and I love myself, because at the end of the day, you know, that is my inner child. That is my inner fear of, but I'm scared of what's going to happen, and so that needs love. So I do that. You know, I love that part of myself. I keep loving myself now, and that really works. Disentanglement. It's choosing love. It's choosing to open up to that energy, that force, that power, that sense, that of love that fills you. You know, it fills you up. It flows through you like a beautiful breeze of goodness. I know it sounds crazy maybe, but I can feel how it affects my endorphins and my dopamine levels. That is what I'm doing now, and I'm going to stick with that because it really feels right, obviously, and it feels good. And I don't know what's going to happen. You know, practice makes perfect, and I've had a few moments where the fear has come back pretty strong, and I've had to sit with that and love myself and do my TRE and choose love. It's all about the choice, the ultimate choice. Yes, we are faced with some pretty heavy, dense, dark stuff like self-hatred, self-punishment, extreme rage, weird schizophrenic shit. All of that has to be acknowledged. All of that has to be witnessed, acknowledged and loved. It isn't psychic attack. I've often felt that, oh, it's psychic attack. The psychic attack element comes in when we realize that the reason everything is this way throughout the multiverse, yeah, not just on this level, but many different levels, many different people, many different beings. This is a really big thing, really big. But it's all brought about, the fall, as it were, through an infection of our consciousness, our chronic mind parasites. And of course, they have a vested interest in us staying the way we are, distracted, hating ourselves, rejecting ourselves. But you see, I've said this before as well, I feel very strongly their power is totally waning, waning, waning. The power of the light is increasing, increasing, increasing. Somebody kindly sent me, thank you by the way, a really good link with regards to the Schumann resonance. And yes, definitely people, something is afoot. The time of the great healing is very much here now, and it's going to work out beautifully for those of us who are willing to do the work of self-love, the work of disentanglement. We are powerful creator beings. We are very precious and we are very special. We are fully capable and fully able to create some sort of reset, to do something incredible, awesome, incredible. I know it, I feel it with all my being, I know this, and it is happening. It has begun. I can feel that too. But the work is going on still. There is still, it's like a building site, you know, the foundations have been laid. They are pure and strong. But there's a lot of shit that still needs to be cleaned up, right? And now it is all about building the house. Mastery, as it were, right? So that is what it's all about. I can feel that. Oh, I can feel the Mojo Rising, people, Mojo Rising. So wherever you find yourself, also, Courtney, hello, I just want to say hello to you. I haven't heard from you for a while. I just want you to know I'm thinking of you and I love you very much. You are beautiful people. You are special, amazing souls. You can do this. Yes, you can. And no matter how often it slips through your fingers momentarily, you will get it back. And every time it slips through your fingers and you get it back, you are the stronger for it. You are the wiser for it. There are no mistakes. And you are not doing this alone. The force is with us. I know this. There is a host of something, of great power of love with us. Very much now, very much more than ever before. And yeah. I can feel a great deal of very magical, miraculous things afoot. Anyway. Oh, coffee. It's nice, isn't it? Lots of love to you all, people. Bless you. Do the work, alright? Do the work. You deserve it. You're very important.